Hello everybody, my name is Valerie Greenwell and welcome to Quilt Artistry. Had a little something that I wanted to share with you today. I'm working on a customer's McKenna Ryan quilt, and my customer wasn't sure if she wanted custom or edge to edge, so we talked through a lot of designs, and I gave her my thoughts and my opinion, and in the end we decided that an all-over pattern would work well on this quilt. Now a lot of people don't like to or wouldn't even consider doing an all-over pattern on a McKenna Ryan quilt, but this one, I think it's going to work really well for that, and I wanted to share this with you so I can show you you know, what I'm working on and why we decided to go with an all-over pattern. Okay, so here we are. This is the McKenna Ryan quilt. It's called Arctic Circle. It has polar bears on it. It's got a really nice little gradient fabric here in the back. This panel is polar bears. I want to say there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's 5 panels all together. Let me take my clamps off here and I'll share this with you. So this one has penguins, and this one in the center is a like a tree with this sweet little owl on top of it. You know, the thing about the McKenna Ryan quilts is there's really so much detail in here. This customer of mine was not keen on the idea of stitching around all of this applique. I mean, it's a lot of work to stitch around all that. So in our discussing about what to do with this, we decided on an all-over pattern. And so the pattern that we selected, let me come over here to my screen and I'll share with you. This one that we are working with is called Classy Curls Pano 005 by Sweet Dreams Quilt Studio. And the idea behind using this all-over pattern was that we were going to be able to tighten up this pattern a little bit. I want to say the default size is, here, let me click on this up here. We'll come back to that. So the default size of this pattern is about 16 by 16-ish, give or take a little bit. Here, if we go back to reset to original, there we go. Yeah, so about a 16-inch square, which would be kind of big. But the whole idea behind using this pattern was that we're going to be able to add rows and repeats to this to make it a tighter pattern. And in making it a tighter pattern, that's going to fill in a lot of that space, and stitch over all of the pieces so that it will hold them all down into place and she wouldn't have to stitch around them. And for my customer, that was really the most important part. So here I have the pattern shrunk down considerably. Instead of using a 3 by 3 grid, I am using 6 repeats and 6 rows. Okay, so I thought that the 6 by 6 might be a little too tight, so I decided to change it to a 5 by 5. That's going to make this pattern about 9, a little over 9.5 by 10.5, give or take. And so I think that's going to give enough coverage to be able to cover over everything without it being too dense. I mean, it does add a lot of density, but the important thing was to be able to quilt over everything without her having to stitch over all of those pieces. So let's see here. We'll see. I have this very, very pale blue thread that I'm going to stitch on that. It reads almost white on the darker colors, but when you see this, on the background color, or on the background fabric. I think it's going to look really nice. This is going to look like snowy wind swirls, I think. So anyway, so that's what I'm doing. I wanted to share that. I'm going to get a little bit quilted, and then we'll come back and take a look, and I'll show you what it looks like as it's stitching. Okay, so I'm back. I've got the first row stitched, and so far I have to say I'm really happy with this. The size of the curls is very nice. It's not too dense, it's not too loose. It goes over all of the applique very nicely. And so this is really giving the coverage that we wanted. I think that the pattern that we selected is very appropriate for the quilt. And the color of the thread looks really good. So overall, right now I have to say I'm very happy with the way this is turning out. So if you've got a quilt that you know, maybe initially would have thought that wouldn't have been a good candidate for an edge-to-edge because it is applique, you know, think again. I really think it's about good pattern selection and an application. So I'm going to finish quilting this, and then when I get the whole thing off, we'll take it off and take a look at it as a whole. Okay, so I'm back. I have the whole quilt quilted. It really only took maybe about another 20 or 30 minutes to quilt this a little bit denser. I'm very happy with the way this turned out. These curls are just perfect for this. And on the entire thing, it really stitched out very nice. It all just, I think it goes well with the quilt itself. And so even in the darker areas, I mean, you can see where the quilting stands out a little bit more on that darker fabric, but when you're looking at it as a whole, I mean, it's perfect for it. And so I think my customer is going to be very happy with this. With that, I would just like to say, don't be afraid to try an all-over pattern on something that you would normally think has to be custom. It really doesn't. So all about application, I think, and good patterns. So with that, thank you. And if you have any questions, message me in the comments.